All right, we're back for the discussion of Straight Outta Compton, and if you saw our review, we liked the movie. We thought it was on the long side, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just probably would have been better if they had released a longer cut of it, direct to video or direct to cable or something like that. I thought where the time constraints suffered, like where I could tell that there was something going on, was that they would start introducing like people like Snoop Dogg and Tupac. Like they would introduce these people and then just do nothing with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it felt to me like they sort of wanted to give shout outs to those people, but they didn't spend any time really talking about them or dealing with them. If it were done more of a documentary style, like
they would have had time.
They would have had time, but they also could have like integrated interviews with the actual people. The surviving members of the band and stuff like that.
Like they did with the news segments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like they didn't get into half of what Suge Knight did and was up to. Like that thing he did to Vanilla Ice in 92, 91, somewhere in there.
Which was what? I don't know.
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Well, yeah, they cut that out. Dre going crazy and slapping D Barnes.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely cut out a lot of the villainy that this group of people brought on themselves in some situations.
I thought it was interesting that they built up Dres Brother the way they did, because I knew that I knew what happens to him, but they built it up dramatically and then
dropped it.
It all happened off screen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He gets a phone call and he's sad and they're by the side of the road, and then that's kind of the end of it.
They did that all for the one shot of them, their hands interlocked around Dre.
I know, but I just mean, I know more details about that story, like about what happened to his brother, than the movie told us.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is odd. Like, they spent time developing the relationship with the brother for the benefit of you understanding why he was upset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the, their concert scenes. Just to see how they came on stage, how they interacted with one another. And it wasn't much of, an argument situation. Like, some people, when they get really big, in my opinion, they probably have, their opinions are going to change about where this person's going to stand or what this person did. At the end of it, they all seemed like they were like, all right, we did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go hang out now. There wasn't much of an argument or anything, because finances were not ever discussed.
Right. And I think some of that's whitewashing. Like, some of that is just making it
seemed like a party all the time, and I'm sure it wasn't.
Yeah. But they also, they pretty much blame Jerry the manager and Eazy-E for, basically financially screwing over the whole band, which is true. That's what happened, and that's how they ended up splitting up. And, Eazy-E by himself is not compelling.
Interesting enough, in this past week, Ice Cube and Dre have both given interviews where they thank Jerry Heller for bringing them out of obscurity.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
As bad as this movie trashes him, and
I don't think the movie trashes anybody. No. I really don't. I think it shows you that the entire band was naive, and Jerry may have done some untoward things, but overall,
he also shielded them.
He was
from
taking
other
care
stuff.
of them from stuff.
Yeah.
And all the things he did to try and keep them from being in trouble with the police and all that stuff he was sticking up for them,
he had the legal side, they had the street smarts.
Right. And
the product.
I got the impression that it was there was sort of an unspoken, like, maybe if Eazy-E were still alive to explain it, he could maybe shed some more light on it. But it seems to me like Jerry and E had a sort of unspoken agreement that they were the two that were going to benefit the most from everything. Mm-hmm. And that's why nobody else had a contract, and, you know, all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. The whole Jerry says it's Eric's idea and Eric says it's Jerry's idea. Like,
back and forth.
That whole back and forth thing.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly thought that for as big a part that they played in the LA riots, that was quickly skimmed over.
Didn't have time.
They didn't play that big of a part in the LA riots.
They were all, I remember them being all over the news during that time.
They were co-opted by the news and blamed in part for some of that stuff, but, like, there were years between that song and that riot.
Yeah, I know that. I just remember them always being on the news, you know, question them about the LA riots.
Yeah.
And it just kind of...
I can't think of the name of it now, but there's a really good documentary that Ice-T is involved in about crack that it does an amazing job of, like, telling the whole story of crack on the East Coast, crack on the West Coast, and how, like, rap is involved in all of that, like how that culture worked and how just how all that stuff happened. That was a really good documentary.
I think this is a good documentary for younger people. I mean, my nephews are younger, and he really wants to see it. That's going to be his parents' decision if
Sure.
they choose to let him see it. I mean, because there is a lot of nudity in it, but it's going to be anywhere. You can see it online. But I think it's a good thing for kids to see and understand.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't something that's talked about in school. This isn't something that's talked about in any history music class you're ever going to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's from the source.
Sure.
Direct. So I think this is going to be a good movie, and I think it'll do well.
Yeah, I do too.
Overall, like, even though it was a small kind of silent release, I think it'll get as much attention as it needs, and it'll be really successful.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's Straight Outta Compton. If you like the way we do these, please like the video, subscribe, check out all the written video reviews at dalemaxfield.com, and thanks for watching.